before it began.
Hey, it's great to have you here for this episode. Today, we're diving into something that really shapes how countries trade with each other, the World Trade Organization, or WTO.
Yeah, it's one of those organizations that's always in the background, but has a huge impact on global trade. And, it officially started in 1995, but its story goes way back.
Right, just after World War II, countries wanted a system to manage trade and avoid conflicts. They actually tried to create something called the International Trade Organization, or ITO, but that never really took off.
Exactly. The ITO was supposed to be this big international body to handle trade, but major countries like the US didn't ratify the treaty, so it kind of died before it began.
So instead, they created the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade GATT in 1948. It was more like a set of rules than an actual organization, and it governed world trade for almost 50 years.
Yeah, but GATT was informal and limited. It mainly focused on reducing tariffs on goods, but it didn't cover services or intellectual property.
That's where the Uruguay Round comes in, the big negotiation from 1986 to 1993. It led to the creation of the WTO, which replaced GATT as a permanent institution.
And that's a big deal, because unlike GATT, the WTO is a formal organization with a treaty basis. It covers not just goods, but also services, intellectual property, and even trade-related investment issues.
Plus, the WTO has a much stronger dispute settlement system. It's faster and more automatic compared to GATT's slower, more informal process.
The WTO Secretariat is based in Geneva with about 600 staff, but interestingly, it doesn't make decisions. The member countries themselves do.
That's a good point. The Secretariat mainly supports the members by providing technical assistance, analyzing trade, and helping with dispute settlements.
Speaking of which, the WTO's objectives are pretty broad. It aims to promote free and fair trade globally, benefiting all countries, especially developing ones.
Right, and it's built on some key principles. One of the most important is non-discrimination. Countries shouldn't discriminate between their trading partners.
That ties into the Most Favored Nation rule, or MFN. If a country gives a special favor, like a lower tariff, to one member, it has to give the same to all WTO members immediately and unconditionally.
But there are exceptions, like free trade agreements or special treatment for developing countries.
Another principle is national treatment, which means once foreign goods enter a country, they should be treated the same as local goods.
And the WTO pushes for reducing both tariff barriers, those are taxes on imports, and non-tariff barriers, like quotas or unfair regulations.
It also promotes fair competition by discouraging unfair practices like dumping, which is selling goods below cost to undercut competitors.
Plus, the WTO gives special attention to developing and least developed countries, offering them extra time and support to meet their commitments.
One interesting concept is binding tariffs. Countries commit not to raise tariffs above agreed levels, which gives businesses predictability.
Moving on to how the WTO is organized. The top body is the Ministerial Conference, made up of trade ministers from all member countries. They meet every 2 years to make major policy decisions.
Then there's the General Council, which meets regularly in Geneva and acts on behalf of the Ministerial Conference when it's not in session. It also functions as the dispute settlement body and the trade policy review body.
Under the General Council, there are 3 specialized councils focusing on trade in goods, services, and intellectual property, known as TRIPS.
The Secretariat is headed by the Director General, appointed for 4 years, and there's also the Appellate Body, a permanent panel of 7 experts who hear appeals in trade disputes.
The dispute settlement mechanism is one of the WTO's strongest features. It starts with consultations to try to settle disputes amicably within 60 days.
If that fails, a dispute panel is formed to examine the case and issue a report. Either party can then appeal to the appellate body, which can uphold, reverse, or modify the panel's findings.
And the dispute settlement body has to accept the appellate body's report unless all members agree to reject it, which is very rare. This makes the system much more effective than before.
So what about the benefits of WTO membership? For countries like Nepal, it helps raise living standards, create jobs, and improve trade capacity.
It also provides market stability and broadens consumer choices by lowering trade barriers.
Nepal, as a least developed country, gets special treatment: longer time to implement agreements, technical assistance, and protection in disputes.
Plus, Nepal benefits from improved market access beyond its traditional export partners and rights to transit goods through neighboring countries.
And the WTO encourages Nepal to modernize institutions and industries, adopt reforms, and better integrate into the global economy.
The WTO also mobilizes trade related technical assistance to help developing countries build capacity, which is crucial.
But there are challenges too. The WTO is sometimes seen as pro Western, and some major members, like the US, have occasionally ignored WTO rulings or acted unilaterally.
That causes frustration and gridlock on many negotiation topics. Plus, some trade agreements happen outside the WTO's authority.
For Nepal, challenges include high unemployment, lack of skilled negotiators, weak institutions, and the need to modernize industries to compete globally.
There are also concerns about income inequality and the dominance of multinational corporations, especially regarding patents and intellectual property rights.
Despite these challenges, the WTO has achieved a lot. Since 1995, global trade value has nearly tripled, and trade volume has increased significantly.
It's helped remove many trade and non trade barriers, creating a more predictable and transparent trading system.
And it's fostered the growth of global value chains, where products are made through international cooperation.
Plus, the WTO pays special attention to the poorest countries, offering flexibility and support to help them benefit from global trade.
So, in summary, the WTO plays a crucial role in shaping global trade, balancing the interests of developed and developing countries, and providing a framework for fair competition.
Yeah, and while it faces challenges, especially in enforcement and inclusivity, it remains a key institution for international economic cooperation.
Absolutely. Understanding the WTO helps us see the bigger picture of how countries interact economically and the rules that keep global trade moving.
Well, that was a solid overview. Thanks for exploring the WTO with me today.
Thanks. It's been great breaking it down together. Until next time.